Hello friends! So today I'm out on my walk and I wanted to talk with you about my diagnosis appointment and hopefully be able to tell you guys what you can expect out of yours if you do go, or if you're not able to go right now, maybe it'll just give you a few ideas so that you know kind of what to expect. So when I called, they explained they don't take any insurance and I'm going to have to pay out of pocket for it. Mine was $200, which I think is like a normal cost for specialists, right? 200. It was crappy, but it is what it is. So once I got down there, you check in, normal, fill out little pieces of paper beforehand, brought them in. They're just basic questionnaires about your symptoms, what you experience, what you're looking for in your appointment from your clinic. That's about it. So you go in, you hand them your stuff, and they have you sit down in the waiting room. Mine was really cool, and they were like, you want a pop? You want a cookie? You want some of this? I'm like, no, I don't want a cookie. I'm on a diet. No, I didn't say that. But I thought it, right? I was like, doesn't a cookie make it worse? Anyway, neither here nor there. Doesn't matter at all. They invite you back. You sit in the chair just like normal, right? And then you drop down to your skivvies. Bra and panties, put on a robe, and you sit there and just wait. Doctor comes in as normal, and they introduce themselves. Just typical appointment, okay? And then they just kind of start asking questions. And they go over like what your specific symptoms are. They talk about how you feel pain, when you have increased swelling, and the whole time you're sitting there in your bra and panties in a robe, and it's slightly awkward, but it's fine. We've all been to gynecologist appointments that are 10 times worse, right? It's okay. Well, would you mind if I take a look at you? I'm like, of course, that's why we're here, right? He starts going over what he's specifically looking for. And for him, his thing was fat that is not distributed properly, right? In a normal obese person, the fat is smooth, it's distributed evenly. In lipedema, you'll see fat pockets that are kind of unusual. You'll see them bulging in different ways around the knees, around the calves, stuff like that. And then of course you see the lovely double waver of the arms. That seems to be consistent with people who have it in their arms. But he said the biggest thing that he's looking for is lumpy fat and feeling for those nodules. So he explained, he grabbed my wrist and kind of looked at my wrist and said the best way to tell is to feel right here by your wrist, and you can feel for little bumps and just rub your fingers upward and just do it again and feel for those little bumps. And then the other place to do it is on your elbow. And this little section right in here, you can do the exact same thing as the wrist. Just pull your fingers up nice and slow and feel for bumps. And sure enough, I could definitely feel those little nodule bumps. I've had a lot of people explain them to be like rice. Mine don't necessarily feel like rice. They don't feel like beans. They just feel like a bumpy, uneven surface, kind of. And he explained that that is definitely the lipedema tissue that you are feeling. And then he went down to my legs and he showed me to feel the top of my thighs, pulling from the middle of the knee upward and just feeling the skin and the tissue under the skin. And guys, ignore the bruising on my legs. I have lipedema, and we all know that we bruise like crazy. I got these straight bruises across my legs from laying down and on some poles that were under my legs. It didn't even hurt. I barely even noticed it. And sure enough, they left straight bruises on my legs. What are you going to do? There's never a time when I'm going to film this when I will not have bruising on my legs. It just is what it is. So anyway, going back, so he felt the lipedema up my leg, and then he said, okay, so the other thing I'm looking at here is the fat pocket right here underneath your knee. This fat pocket, what does this feel like to you? Is this tender? I said, it's not really tender, it is really hard, and it has been there for a really long time, and even with my other weight loss throughout the years, I've never been able to get those fat pockets to go away. He said, okay, and what about the ones on your knees here? And he started pointing out, the one on the inner knee, the one on the outer knee, and then of course the one up above the knee that everybody loves. And then we started talking about my developing saddlebags off to the side, and then the pockets on the inner thigh as well. Super lovely. I love breaking my legs apart like this, but It is what it is. The other thing that he mentioned on me specifically is that he could also feel lipedema tissue in my trunk. I actually did not know that was there. I was pretty amazed. And I guess in order to feel that, you just got to get in and start squishing fat around. He said it's one of the harder places to feel the lipedema tissue, but mine was definitely there. And he would also want to do a surgery on my trunk as well. So after this, he basically said, okay, well, you have lipedema. And I said, I know, I figured I did, but thank you for telling me. And it was actually it was kind of relieving just to know that I wasn't crazy and I was right, because I spent $200 for somebody to tell me I was right. That's basically how I felt. And he was like, you know, basically, we do surgery. We can fix this with liposuction. We can handle this. He explained that for me specifically, which is going to be different for you, but for me specifically, I would need about 8 different surgeries. Whoa, that's a lot. He explained that I am between 2 and 3, stage 2 and 3, breaking into the 3, but still in 2, right in the middle there. He basically said, you know, there's nothing really that you're going to be able to do about it. I asked about holistic approaches. He didn't really know anything. He didn't really have anything to offer. He said people can do things to manage pain, but if you actually want to treat it, you're going to get liposuction. And at that point, I kind of realized, hold on, silly me. I literally went to a surgeon to ask for holistic approaches, to ask for ways not to have surgery. Like, duh. And I realized I was in completely the wrong place. And I'm back. Little bit of YouTube magic there. I got a little sidetracked yesterday, had a few things come up and had to cut until today. So next day, YouTube magic. Back on topic. So as I was talking about yesterday, after I found out that I was just completely in the wrong space and wasn't to the right professional yet, I decided that I would just pick his brain about everything and anything I could think of. I think when you first find out that you have lipedema, you hit Google and you try to look for tons of information. You're just searching for answers everywhere. And a lot of it online is really conflicting. And so one of the things I wanted to do was just get proper information so that I felt empowered and I had like a good idea around what was actually happening in my body. So I talked to him for like an hour. And then after that, I talked to his, I don't know what she was, helper, nurse, receptionist. She kind of did all of it, but she was so incredibly helpful. And she just gave me article after article after article. And we sat and talked for probably another hour, just her and I, about lipedema. She was post-op and was, you know, had a big family history and had dealt with it a lot. And so she was so knowledgeable. It was really helpful to have a human explaining things instead of trying to read it and make sense off of really scientific and complicated YouTube videos. That really helped bring peace of mind to me and help me really realize, you know, the ins and outs of lipedema and where I needed to start. The thing that I wanted the most was my diagnosis paper, and it was actually just like a copy and paste kind of a thing, but it was addressed to my provider. And basically it said, Sarah has lipedema, and this is a quick synopsis of what it is. And these are things that you can order through insurance to help her. And on that list was really what the gold was. It said things like a vein specialist, physical therapy. It said stuff, nutritionist, orthopedic specialist to help with gait and walking, stuff like that. And they said, take this to your provider, have them give us a call if they have any questions on it. We're happy to talk to them. These are a few ways that you can help yourself right now. That was it, which was great. That's exactly what I wanted. So took the paper, went up to my doctor, got some referrals ordered. I'll do other videos about that. But that was basically my experience at my diagnosis appointment. All around, I think it was a great experience. I definitely am happy that I went and did it. A few things that I didn't like was just that it was such a push for surgery. I honestly felt like I was in a $50,000 sales call. Some of the questions that they asked me, they kind of like led me to the answers, which was kind of odd. I've spent a lot of my life in sales, and to be honest with you, a lot of them were like leading questions, like, You swell a lot in heat, don't you? It's like, yes. You experience pain in your fat pockets, don't you? Right? Where they're like including the answer along with the question. And even at times when I felt like I answered them differently, like I was like, no, not necessarily, it was skipped over. But I don't think that's like a big deal. I think it was just that provider, and I don't think other people experienced that the way that I did. And I don't think they meant anything odd by it. I think that was just kind of that doctor's way of doing things, which wasn't my favorite, but not a big deal. So I hope that helps somebody going into it. I hope that helps you guys know what to expect as you go in to maybe get your diagnosis or decide whether or not you want to spend the $200 on it or not, whether that's going to work. Like I said, the only reason that I decided to spend the money was so that I could get the referrals to the other places, so that I could get help that I do want, like physical therapy, like a nutritionist. I might take them up on orthopedics and gait. I didn't realize until I went to the physical therapist, but my walk's a little squonky. Who knew? But it's all good. If you have had your diagnosis and you have had a fantastic experience or even not an awesome experience, leave a comment below. I would love to hear about what other people are experiencing. And also, guys, if you're finding value in these videos, go ahead and hit subscribe. Like I mentioned before, do not smash that subscribe button. Just tap it lightly. Don't destroy your phone. Don't destroy your computer. Just tap it super lightly. Tap it. I'll do another video every week. We'll talk soon. Bye, y'all.